Well, finding housing in Maine, it's one of the biggest issues in our state, with many struggling to get on the first rung of the housing ladder. That includes people, of course, in Portland.
And leaders in Portland are working on proposed zoning changes right now, which could help to reshape the city's housing landscape. Here to tell us more is local real estate agent and author Tom Landry. Thank you so much for being here this morning,
Thanks,
Tom.
Katie. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Let's start just by talking about, you've been in this business for decades and decades. What are you seeing right now? What's the trend? What's the situation overall?
Right. So obviously we've had our first in-migration of the state really in the last 70 years and these last couple of years. So we all just need to turn on the news, right? You guys do a great job of that, about highlighting all of the climate crisis that's happening around the country and the world. Fortunately, we've seen that recently. We're going to see it on Halloween, right, about our weather here being very, very mild. So we're being less affected by climate change, which is leading towards a lot of folks from other areas of the country and even the world to look toward areas like this to be safe havens. So we're seeing them move in. We're seeing people move in because we're still a bargain, hard to believe, compared to some of these other areas. And obviously remote work is happening as well. So you have this convergence, especially on our southern Maine areas and our urban areas, of all of those factors, along with sort of generational factors. Baby boomers, the biggest segment of the population, wanting to re-urbanize, right? And then echo boomers sort of coming back in, those millennials being all targeting these urban areas and these coastal areas. So it is a perfect storm, if you will, about a housing crisis in our state and our city. I just came from a thing with the governor, and we need 80,000 units in the next 4 years.
Yeah,
80,000.
Speaking of that, the Maine State Housing Authority said they need that amount, 80,000, to keep up with the demand. Is that realistic? What are the challenges to be done both of those things?
Yeah, Jeff, it is a very good point, and we talked about this, and I just came off from a governor's roundtable about these discussions. I think one of the things that came up in that meeting that we need to be worried about a little bit is losing our way of life and something we really love, and the unique fabric of our area, where you can go from urban to very rural in about 5 minutes from where we are right now, right? We're in Portland, but you can be all by yourself in farms, fields, and forests, and think about all that great farm-to-table stuff that happens with our farmers markets and stuff. If we don't manage this growth the right way, it's going to become suburban sprawl. So what's happening right now in Portland is Recode, and a lot of other municipalities are thinking about their downtown urban areas and really getting back to how we lived in Europe and how we lived in our country before the mass influx of cars and highways and all these type of things that happened post-World War II.
All right, tell us more about Recode Portland, what it is exactly, and your thoughts on it, and can you tell us about the important meeting?
Yeah. So last night there was a major meeting where the planning staff, in particular, I want to draw some attention to and give a lot of praise to Kevin Kraft and Nell Donaldson. They have spearheaded this over the last decade, and it's gotten to this point. So next Monday, after the meeting last night, they presented the final draft of Recode. So next Monday, our city councils are going to vote on it, and we hope that they vote that unanimously to be approved. This is a massive leap forward to address our zoning. So we've been in a housing shortage of supply for the last 20-odd years. We haven't built enough. We have this increased demand, and it really gets down to fundamentals, right? We need to increase supply to offset that demand of all types of housing, and this is a wonderful step.
Yeah, as well as housing, Recode is also about changing the urban landscape when it comes to commerce and transit. City is working on a plan since 2017. I've been hearing about the light rail and things like that and more high rises for years. So is something like that might happen in the near future?
Oh, absolutely. It's fundamentally going to change our zoning, and every single lot in the city of Portland is going to change and what we can do with those. And it's called upzoning, so that we're able to build taller and higher, some skyscrapers. We're looking at our major corridors and something very exciting called TOD zones, transportation orientated districts. So again, we're trying to say, hey, what right around maybe Woodford's Corner, what can we do there? How can we build higher? How can we create a more complete community where people can leave their doors and walk to everything they need? Isn't that great?
Have you heard from anyone who's pushing back against this, who maybe doesn't support this, and what are you hearing about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are saying we want to do more. I mean, that's the most of them. If you think about the 100% of the population, I would say 80% of them are saying, hey, I can. And we just talked about this off air, right? The idea that our kids can't afford to live here. If I'm working at a job and I'm not making $100,000 a year, and even if I am, I've got to go a mile away, or excuse me, an hour away to get to something that's affordable. That's unsustainable, right? $2,500, $3,000 a month for a 1 or 2 bedroom is unsustainable. We need all types of new housing. So most of people are saying we need more. There are still a few people that are saying, I don't want our city to change.
I hear from so many people, we see these new hotels being built. Yeah. And how do we balance that we want the tourists to come to town to help support the local economy, but also not just build the hotels, but build like high-rise apartments as well.
Yeah. So to me, again, it's all in the right direction, right? People are going to come here. We're seeing that happen. You're seeing it again with things like the Rue Institute and spinning off of these incubator companies. You're seeing it with world headquarters down Sun Life, Covetrus, and WEX, obviously. So these people are coming. Tourists are coming. I think we need to say, yes, we're inclusive of these types of folks. So it's, to me, not this versus that, and not just affordable housing. It's everything and then some. So I think the city's doing a great job of this. I would like them, once we pass this, to be more aggressive on the other side of that and not say, now that we've lifted something for a decade, we don't want to look at it for another decade. Our housing crisis is going to continue after the vote.
In your book, Priced Out of Portland, you lay out some other solutions. What can you tell us about your recommendations, and what else can people learn from your book?
Yeah, I got it right here. I mean, a little shameless self-promotion, right? It's on stands.
We can all relate to that, you know?
Yeah, so it's on stands now. It's a passion project. I've been working on this a long time, and I'm a realtor primarily, but I'm also a developer here in Portland. So frontline view of what we're doing well and what are the challenges. So to me, when I looked at the numbers, and it was even shocking being in real estate, and I'm a part of this every day here in our city, but when you look at the numbers and the change over the last decade of single family, multifamily, so 2 to 4 units, and then condos and the price increases. So a decade ago, the median sale price of a single family home was about $230,000. It just crested $610,000 last month.
Unbelievable.
It's just shocking, you're right. So, and you couple that with high interest rates. So we need to build more. We need to do all these types of things. And I have some specific things in here. You can go on to homewithtomlandry.com to download the e-copy, and it's certainly in bookstores now. So I've got some great ideas, but it really is sort of thinking about it as a hearts and minds campaign, trying to change the perception of the common person who doesn't follow this like me and a whole bunch of other geeks around zoning, to understand what are the levers that prevent housing from happening, and how can we loosen those up?
Yeah, and for the record, you called yourself a geek. We did not.
No, we didn't. It's like Housing for Dummies, this book, right? I could learn about it. Yeah, exactly.
Like a Cliff Notes all of a sudden. I don't want to read the whole book, but I'll read that.
All right,
Absolutely.
Tom, keep us posted on everything.
Okay, thank
all
you.
right, thanks so
everyone.
much.